Okay, so I just finished removing this wall here that was dividing up my workshop. So I got that wall out of the way. I ended up with a bunch of lumber from it, 2x4s. And what I'm going to do with this lumber is I'm going to build a 8-foot workbench to go into the garage. And so I thought I'd take you along and show you how I do it. First, I'm going to start out with a list of cutting up the 2x4s. And this is what we're going to want. We want 4 94.5 inch 2x4s, 6 3-footers, 6 25 inches, 6 22 inches, and 6 7-inch 2x4s, which I've already cut them up, and here they are. There's the 3-footers, the 25s, the 22s, the 7s, and the 94.5s. So let's make a nice workbench out of this, so it doesn't go to waste. Alright, so here we are. We got the front half of the frame. We've got 2 94.5 inch long 2x4s. We've got 3 30 inches laying flat down on the table. And on top of it, we've got 3 22 inches and 3 7 inches. We're going to nail this all together. And this will be one, and then we're going to have to make a second one just like it. Okay, so now you want to make sure this thing is square before you put it all together again. I've got it on a square piece of plywood, so everything seems to be nice and square. You can, I'm sure you could nail this together with a nail gun. I'm going to use 2.5 inch deck screws. 2.5 inch is long enough where it'll go through deep into the backboard, but not stick out the end, so you won't be scratching yourself every time you reach behind it or something. And you know, I could probably just drive these things right through both. I drilled a little pilot hole so it'll kind of go through the top board easily and then bite into that bottom board and get a better clamp on it. But that might be, I mean, I don't know that you need to do that. It's just something I'm going to do. I'm sure you could just drive it in. If you had a framing hammer or a framing gun, you could just staple this thing together in no time. I don't have one, so I'm just going to go ahead and screw it together. Okay, here's our second one. Very sturdy. Very sturdy, very strong. Alright, now we've got to put them together. Okay, so the next thing I want to do now is to fasten these cross braces. Like so. We've got 3 of them. One here, one's going to go here, one's going to go here, and then the other half will secure to the other end of these. So, okay, now I think I'm going to stand them up, and I'll secure the other ones while it's standing up. Alright, now I'm going to fasten these top braces on. Okay, so here's where I'm at now. I've got the bench looking like this. And just to review, down the bottom are the 7-inch pieces. On the front of the legs are the 22-inch pieces. The braces are the 25-inch pieces. The full leg is the 3-foot pieces. And then these long runs are the 94.5-inch pieces. And so this is what it looks like once it's all assembled. Give you a quick walk around just so you can kind of, if you weren't clear as to how I put it together. This is what it looks like. Alright, and so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a bottom shelf on it, and then the final top workbench. Okay, so the bottom shelf is 28 inches deep, and it runs the whole length, 8 feet. And so I took a piece of plywood that I used when I removed this wall, and I've cut it. It's 8 feet long. It's 28, I ripped it 28 inches wide, and then I notched out spots at each corner to wrap around the legs. And yeah, I know what you're saying. Dave, what happened here? Screwed up? Well, not exactly. This was the old light socket. The light switch or an outlet, whatever it was, that was cut into this wall before I took it down. So we're going to put this down and make it our bottom shelf where we can stash all kinds of goodies. So here's how I do that. Well, I had to dig a bunch of nails out of this thing, so this face is kind of rough. So I'm going to flip it over so I don't get slivers for the rest of my life. Better looking side. We'll have this face up. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to put a couple of screws in there just to hold it down for now. And then when the whole thing's completely assembled and everything looks good, then I'll drive a bunch more screws in it to sock it down. Okay, so at this stage we're going to put a top on it now. And my original plan was to get two 4x8 3/4 sheets of plywood. And I'll rip them 29 inches, which would be the top surface. You know, an extra inch wide to get a little overhang, a little lip on the front of it. So 29 inches by 8 feet long. I was going to get two sheets and screw them both on top of each other to give me a good 1.5 inch thick top that can take some abuse. But then I was in Home Depot and I'm looking at plywood, and this plywood here, I don't know what that's, 5/8. I mean, they go by 30 seconds, I think. I don't know. A little over 1/2 inch. It was 80 bucks for one sheet. I guess it's been a while since I ordered plywood. I mean, I thought I was going to walk in there, 25 bucks a sheet, 30 bucks a sheet. I was going to get two of them for 60 bucks. I spent 80 bucks on one. So we're going to use one, and I'm just going to take some of the scrap from the old wall, which is, you know, thinner stuff, but it's plywood just the same. So I ripped a 29-inch piece of the old plywood from the wall. I'm going to put that down first, and then I'm going to put this thicker plywood on top of it, so I should have a beefy tabletop and save 80 bucks. I mean, this was supposed to be a free table. I don't want to pay 160 bucks for it. So that's the plan. I'm going to put the thinner sheet down first, and then I'm going to put the thicker finished plywood as my work surface on top of it. And so this is how that's going to work. So I got a good side and a bad side of this plywood. I'm going to have the bad side facing up, just so, you know, I don't want this stuff underneath, so when I'm underneath there trying to grab stuff, I'm getting, you know, splinters. And so I'm going to keep a good clean side facing down, and this dirty side is just going to be underneath the final top. This is the back of it. This edge is nice and clean. There's no splinters. I mean, this edge is all beat up. That's why it's going to be on the back of it. And it'll be up against the wall, and I don't have to worry about it. I cut it a little bit short, just in case these edges were rough. I'm not going to, again, I'm just thinking splinters, slivers. Screw this down. And then we'll put the put that face down. This looks more finished and nicer surface, so I'm going to use this face up. Now Now this back side is going to be flush, but the front side is going to have a 1/4 or a 1 inch lip on the front. And a little overhang on the ends as well, 1 inch or so. I want to make sure I get a good clamp, so I'm going to drill a pilot hole where that screw will drop right through it, and then I'll sock it down so the head of the screw will pull down and sock it tight. Alright, so I drilled a pilot hole through this. So this screw will kind of go through here. Bite on that 2x4 and sock it down nice and tight. Alright, before I go socking it all down, I'm going to take a walk around and take a look. Okay, so before I screw it all together, both the bottom shelf and the top, I just want to walk around and make sure it looks like what I want. A little lip on the front. Nice surface. Looks like it's standing up pretty straight. I don't have a level with me because I still have half of my stuff in my other garage. But, I mean, are you kidding me? That's an 8-foot long, 29-inch wide workbench with all kinds of storage underneath it. That's beautiful. So I think I like it here, and I'm just going to start screwing things down for the final assembly. Alright, so there's the finished product. Beautiful. I love it. I built 2 of these about 25 years ago. They're in my other garage. I'll be bringing them over to this garage. And they're still, to this day, they're solid as can be. And so now I'll have a third 8-foot long workbench. This one I screwed together. The other ones I nailed together. So this one should be even more solid and sturdy. But the ones I nailed together were still, to this day, I use them every day. They're fine. Solid. Doubled up on the top. Just a single plywood on the bottom shelf. But there it is. I think it came out awesome. It's going to look great in here. And, you know, it didn't take, you know, what did I need? A square, a pencil, a miter box, a drill, circular saw. That's about it. I mean, most people have that kind of stuff in their garage anyway. And some leftover plywood from the wall that I took down. I bought 1 piece of plywood for the top surface because all the plywood that I had was pretty chewed up from disassembling it. But there it is. Looks great. Alright, until next time, thanks for watching.